morning, everyone. My name is Alud Melrad. I'm the Chair and CEO of the Greater Toronto Marketing Alliance. And as the MC for this morning, I'd like to welcome you to the Rosewater Room as we discuss building trade and investment links, the GTA's path to economic recovery. The Honourable Tony Clement, Minister of Industry.
Well, Bill, thank you for your kind words and for remembering our earlier association. And, lots of friends around the room. Just as you are promoting the Greater Toronto Area on the international stage, I, as the Minister of Industry, am actively promoting Canada as a place for international investment. My role as the Minister of Industry, I'm not the Minister of Autos, I just want to make that clear right now. I'm the Minister of Industry, and my role as Minister of Industry is primarily to help facilitate the productivity and the greater competitiveness for our Canadian industries. And I don't have to tell you, increasing trade and investment is an essential part of that equation. Now, I want you to know that Canada is gaining an increasingly positive reputation on the world stage as a place to do business. Our government has made significant progress in setting the conditions to make Canada an attractive place in which to invest, in which to work, and obviously to do business. And I'm sure my colleague, Minister of State Peter Kent, my friend, will elaborate further on the stronger relationship that we have forged with Latin America and the Caribbean in his talk later on, and looking forward to those remarks as well. What I would like to do this morning, though, is to focus on the improvements our government has made to the Investment Canada Act and our competition policies in order to raise Canada's profile as an international player. I want you to know that our government has set a clear direction towards a competitive and innovative economy, and that these recent changes move us more forward and more directly in the direction that we have to go. Competing successfully with the rest of the world is our objective, of course, in the global economy, and as we move forward with our long-term vision, we must, of course, at all times, dare to be innovative, both to protect the jobs of today, but also to secure the jobs of the future. So first, I want you to know that it is important to contextualize where we stand at the moment. I want you to know that Canada continues to fare better than many other countries. We are standing on a very solid foundation, and that this is being noticed by our fellow G8 and G20 economic partners. Our government has reduced taxes, paid down debt, and made those important investments in roads, bridges, waterways, and other essential infrastructure projects. Through 4 budgets, this government has put in place the right conditions to create a positive climate for Canadian businesses to succeed. Canada has a long-established value proposition to attract investors to Canada. We have a highly educated, skilled, and modern workforce. We welcome newcomers to a multicultural and inclusive society. Our immigration policies are favorable to investors, to entrepreneurs, and to the self-employed. And, as I would know myself, Canada has one of the best public healthcare systems in the world, and of course, it goes without saying that on the economic side, we are part of a fully integrated market under NAFTA. We provide a stable investment climate. Our financial institutions have been inherently more risk-averse than our American and our European counterparts. And this conservative approach has served us well during this world economic crisis. Now, of course, Toronto is a center of investment. In terms of venture capital investments, Toronto attracted over half of Ontario's investments in 2008. And while the total number of investments in 2008 was significantly below 2007 levels, reduced cross-border and foreign activity were largely behind the decrease. In this context, the action our government has taken to increase Canada's competitiveness and improve our investment frameworks is vital right now. I want you to know that we have been busy improving our marketplace frameworks to help Canadian businesses successfully compete with the rest of the world over the long term. Now, as you may recall, in July of 2007, our government created the Competition Policy Review Panel. It was chaired by Red Wilson. And it was to examine two key pieces of Canadian legislation, the Competition Act and the Investment Canada Act, to see if there were changes that were needed to ensure that Canada keeps pace with today's competitive global economy. This panel consulted with Canadians from across the country and heard from stakeholders in cities such as Montreal, Ottawa, Vancouver, Calgary, and of course right here in Toronto. It received and reviewed 155 written submissions as well. In addition to the regional meetings across Canada, consultations were held on specific themes of direct relevance to the panel's mandate. This supplemented a number of informal meetings with issue experts and senior officials in Canada and abroad throughout the panel's proceedings. And once all the consultations were completed, the panel submitted its recommendations to the federal government in the summer of 2008. And we, at that time, committed to act on those recommendations. And so, as part of the Budget Implementation Act this winter, we honored that commitment. And so we are reducing the challenges currently facing international investors who want to invest here. And this is critical because international investment is vital to our country. It's also an important driver of the Toronto economy. It spurs innovation and enhances productivity. It makes our economy more dynamic and better able to compete in world markets. It provides greater access to capital and ideas, enabling Canadian companies to expand and improve. And it creates more jobs for Canadians. So to achieve these goals, we have enhanced the Investment Canada Act, legislation that has not been significantly updated in more than 20 years. This will mean that future reviews will be applied only to the largest and most important prospective investments. As part of the Investment Canada Act reforms, we have introduced a national security review mechanism that will ensure that Canada's sovereignty is not threatened. Formerly, Canada was the only major developed country that did not have a mechanism for reviewing a foreign investment on the basis of national security, and now that has fortunately changed. But I want to be clear, this is not to be mistaken as a form of protectionism. Canada is open for business. We recognize that the way forward, the only way forward, is to take a global perspective and to raise our sights to the opportunities of the global marketplace. I know, and I hope that you know, that Canada is in a position to succeed, and our government is ensuring that businesses and investors are best able to benefit from this global marketplace.